Yes, I've got some good shit to tell you today, brothers and sisters. As I say, we're not gonna bullshit about it. We're gonna tell it just like it is.
Yo, what's going on? You don't have to go to college to be successful, to have a career and make good money. I'm aware of that. You don't have to, right? Now, college doesn't guarantee you anything. All it does is, increase your odds of being able to support yourself, right? But at the end of the day, nothing is guaranteed. But understand this. A lot of people who opt out of going to school or going to college or to pursue some formal type of training already have an idea of where they're going to be in terms of career. They're not necessarily let me rephrase it. It's not that they know where they're going to work in terms of where it's part-time, full-time. They know what they're going to do as far as career-wise. So they're not worrying about, finding a job here and there. A lot of the times, these people are going into family-ran businesses. Prime example, man, I have a couple. I know one girl who I went to high school with who, as soon as graduation was over, was going to run some Baskin Robbins, which is an ice cream shop that her parents owned. They had about, I think, at the time 3, now they have 5. I talked to her on Facebook a couple of days ago. So now they're at 5, and she helps manage 2 or 3 of them. So that's what she does for a living, and they're all doing pretty well. So she didn't go to college, but she knew upon graduating high school, this is what I was going to get into. Another friend whose father is a plumber. Okay, so he said upon graduation, he's just going to pretty much go apprentice, become an apprentice under his father, learn the trade, and that was what he was going to do, and take over the family business, grow it, and expand it. It is what it is. I even have a couple of people who actually went to college just for the sake of going to college, just because, it was a standard that their family set. One Middle Eastern guy, families owned some gas stations. Right, I believe it was some Shell gas stations. Had a couple balling, doing well. Right, honestly, he was in school just to go to school. He already knew what he was gonna do. Right, this was just him having fun. This was his vacation, so to speak, because he already knew what was gonna happen. I had another Persian friend, families owned a hardwood flooring tile type distribution type center, and that's what he was going to do when he was done. So there are people who know exactly what they're going to get into, and a big one is construction. When I also graduated, I had a couple of black friends who, the second they graduated, literally in 2 days, they moved to Las Vegas, because as you know, Las Vegas is always doing construction. If you've ever been, you know that they're always doing construction. They're always remodeling, renovating, doing maintenance, and this, that, and the third. So, I encourage you, for any black man out there who is into that construction, using your hands type industry, whether it's being a plumber, electrician, I don't care what you do, I would heavily consider looking into Las Vegas for work, because they are always doing stuff, and they work around the clock. But when it gets too hot, they work during the night. So, but like I said, there's plenty of jobs, right? And these were my high school boys, no experience. The second they graduated, they moved up to Las Vegas, and they're doing well, right? They were making 40 straight out of high school doing construction. It's not necessarily easy, but they knew that was their career. They weren't necessarily worrying about finding a good job. They knew that this was going to be their career. So in closing, what I'm trying to get at is that a lot of the times people who say they don't need college already know the career that they're getting into, because their parents probably own the business, or they've done heavy hard research. it's not just them saying it and not having a plan. They actually know. That's the point I'm trying to get at. Because most of the time people don't talk about it. People say you don't need college, but if you look at their own situation, they're working for their parents or their uncle's business, or right, they chose a certain career path straight from the jump, right? They weren't waiting around searching. They already knew what they wanted to do. So anyways, you guys holler at me, tell me how you feel. Take it easy, God bless.